it's sad when holiness churches and Pentecostal churches never have one service where the Spirit moves anymore. He says, when the next generation asks what these stones mean, tell them the ark and the priest went before us. And when they stepped into Jordan, God moved it out of the way. Glory to God. Signs ought to be. I'm preaching tonight. Signs are coming. And this next generation ought to be asking, what does that mean? What is that about? They ought to be able to say, I know what it is to hear somebody get up and speak in tongues and somebody interpret what they just said. I know what it is to see the Holy Ghost fall on somebody and move on somebody. I know what it is for somebody to get up and prophesy under the power and the Spirit of the Holy Ghost. I know what it is. But if we're not careful, oh, but they're coming. Well, they're closer tonight than they've been in a while. But there are two things we've got to do in order to have the signs. Amen. And the first is preach. Huh? As much as I enjoy good singing, we're going to have anointed preaching. As much as I enjoy the shouting, we're going to have anointed preaching. He said, go ye into all the world and preach. Preach the gospel. Huh? Today they're preaching everything but the gospel. Sister Carol, the secret is the gospel. Preaching the gospel has always been God's method. Huh? He said it's the preaching of the cross. That is the power of God unto salvation. Huh? The gospel of Jesus Christ. But now we're almost hearing everything but the gospel. Children, the only thing I know to preach tonight is the gospel of Jesus Christ. And after I'm done, if that hasn't satisfied you, if you're not happy with that, I don't know what to tell you, because I don't know anything else to preach except the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I've just about come to the place where I believe I am. The only thing I know left to do is keep on preaching. Preach, preach, preach. Preach when I'm tired. Preach when I'm lonely. Preach when I'm discouraged. Preach, preach. I hear the Holy Ghost inside of me saying, preach, preach, preach. Preach on Wednesday night. Glory to God. If you want Bible study, come to Sunday school. I'm going to preach. Glory to God. I'm going to preach on Wednesday night. And I'm going to preach on Sunday morning. And I'm going to preach on Sunday night. And I'm going to preach and preach. And while I'm preaching, I'm going to look behind my shoulder, because he says, signs shall follow. And I'm going to be expecting him to come any moment. I'm a preacher. I teach if I want to, but I'm a preacher. And the second thing is believe. There's power, Sister Carol, in believing. All things can be done if we believe. He said, if you preach and if you believe, these signs shall follow them which believe. What signs? He said, they shall cast out devils in my name. Not Buddha, not Muhammad, but Jesus. Huh? Glory to God. He said, they shall take up serpents and not be harmed. Now, he's not talking about these church handling snake organizations. He's talking about Paul when he's over there on that island. And he's building the fire, and the viper jumps out and takes him by the wrist, and everybody's waiting for him to drop down dead. But Paul shook him off. Somebody shook him off tonight? Huh? Glory. I felt him when he went by me. Somebody shook him off tonight. He went out the back door. I felt him when he went by me. Somebody shook him off tonight. And Lord, grant this. You shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. He says these signs shall follow. And what did they do? The Bible says they went everywhere preaching. Amen. Boy, they were preaching men. You lock them up, they'll preach in jail. You tell them to stop preaching, they'll be out the next day preaching. I like to see them stop Paul from preaching. The only way they could stop him from preaching was cut his head off. And the Lord confirmed the word. How? By signs following. Amen. Huh? I was reading just this afternoon in the T.L. Lowry book, Supernatural. He said after a 40-day fast, I've met T.L. Lowry. I've been to his evangelistic seminar conference. Got a certificate to prove it. Wow. Got it hanging on the wall. Not the only one I got. He said after a 40-day fast, he was in Knoxville, Tennessee. So tired. Can you imagine? He stayed off the stage, so maybe in the classroom somewhere, until it came time for him to preach. It came time for him to preach. Somebody helped him out on the platform, Brother Darren. Said they had a large chair for him to lean on. If he got so tired, he could sit. He said most of the time he just leaned on it. Before he came out, Sister Dick, the pastor told the church, he said, don't be alarmed when you see Brother Lowry. He's not sick. He's just been on a 40-day fast because of the weight loss and how he looked. He said he's not sick. He said he came out that evening and he began to speak. He said, I was so weak, I was almost at a whisper. And I began to talk. Real softly, I began to speak. He said, about 10 minutes after speaking, he said it was like somebody turned on, he explained it like a power plant. And that whole building was electrified. I want you to know something, this is real. And no wonder I'm after it and hungering for it and preaching about it, because it's real. If it wasn't real, I wouldn't be looking for it or preaching it. He said it was like electricity filled that building. And he said all of a sudden the Shekinah glory settled in that building. And he said you could see it move from one side to the other side. He said, now everybody didn't see it. Some did. Several did. I've heard them talk about the old church. How they saw blue smoke. That's that Shekinah glory. He said, and when that fell on top of that congregation, he said, men began to fall out under the Spirit of the Lord. He said almost that whole place, they were on their face. He said the first thing I asked, are there any in this place that need to be saved? He said hundreds responded and fell in the altar. He said it wouldn't leave the glory, that electrical power. He said, then I began to ask. He said, I knew it was too many in here, and I was too weak to pray for every individual. He said, those that need a healing, stand to your feet. And those that are on crutches or in wheelchairs or lying on beds, he said, take your left hand and put on the place that is afflicted. And then raise your right hand. And he said, you're healed. He said they jumped out of their wheelchairs. They threw their crutches down and jumped off their beds. That's right. Power. Signs. Will you stand with me tonight? Signs and wonders. Grant it, oh God. Grant it, oh Lord. He said demons were cast out. Blinded eyes were opened. Deaf ears were unstopped. Heart problems, diabetes, and other conditions were immediately healed that night. Amen. We got some of those same diseases. And if God did it for that generation, come on, I've got a stepfather tonight that needs for this generation to have signs and wonders, Daddy, following us. Huh? Glory, you're in here tonight and you've got something in your life. We need signs and wonders following us. As they begin to play, I want you to make your way up front. If you want to stand, if you want to pray for somebody, if you want me to pray for you, if you feel like God can heal you tonight, I want you to come forward. But right now, start coming out of